同学们好。
老师好。
Welcome everybody. It is Monday the 7th of March. We're sort of in the middle of the first section of the Young Family Tai Chi Chuan traditional form. As the folks who've joined will see, we're going to try an experiment of having two cameras today. We won't have it for the whole class, but we'll have it in some sections. And if you can stay after class and give me feedback about whether it was helpful or not, that will influence whether we do it again or not. Usually we introduce a new movement. I'm not going to introduce a new movement today. We're actually going to go and consolidate the work on footwork. We introduced some footwork at the beginning when we started the first section, before we'd done the form. Now that we've done the form, I think it'll make sense to actually go back and review the footwork, particularly how we move, with different kinds of steps. So we're going to focus on that for today. So let us begin with our standing practice. And so we begin with feet shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. And bend your knees, circle the arms up. Couldn't see my clock. And we'll do 3 minutes. So standing practice is a way of training our body so that we have good posture, and we use it throughout the form in the moving form. It's a way for us to practice our breathing so that we breathe smoothly and freely into the abdomen. And over time, it will help to calm the mind. Somebody said in the feedback to the survey, yeah, I can stand there, but boy, my mind isn't very calm. It jumps around all over the place. Join the club. I think it might take a yogi a lifetime of meditating in a cave in the Himalayas to get a calm mind. The rest of us just have to take what we get. But slowly, it helps. 1 minute. And actually, by attending to our checklist, whenever you find your mind wandering, think about your checklist. So we're here. First, feel the head empty. Feel the head rising. It's like the head is, I like to think of it as a helium balloon. It's rising up, it's light, and it expresses your spirit. Now feel at the other end of your spine, feel your sacrum, the bone, the flat of the back of your pelvis, like the weight on the other end of a string. It's sinking down, and it's opening and extending your spine. So that's vertical, open and extension. Now we'll open horizontally, so feel your back slightly rounded and your chest absorbed by pulling open horizontally at the elbows. And actually feel the extension all the way to your fingertips so that your arms, that's 2 minutes, are like the outside of a balloon. And you might actually feel your fingertips tingling a little. Don't be too stiff. Make sure that your breath is still free. And as we round the back, everything is connected. So check that your shoulders are still sinking. It's easy when we round the back for our shoulders to hunch up. So feel the shoulders sinking down and feel as if they're little weights hanging from your elbows. And now see if you can find your breathing. Just observe your breath moving your abdomen up and down. And as you adjust your posture, if you think you're too stiff or too limp, change it and see and listen to your breath. Where your breath is most free, that's the place where you want to be in your posture. That's 3 minutes, and release. We'll practice. Last week and the week before we did empty stance and standing practice. We'll do bow stance today. So back foot to the corner, step out, shoulder width, as far as your foot will go and come back, sink forward your weight, torso in line with the back leg. Let's start with the footwork. So 1 foot to the corner, 1 foot to straight. About 60% on the front leg, 40 on the back. Make sure your crotch is rounded so that the weight is even on the inside and outside of your feet. And feel that your weight is over the bubbling well for both feet so that you can't easily lift your heel or the ball of either foot. Check your body setting. So your torso is in line with your back leg in this stance. Your chest is square to the front. And your tailbone is centered on the line front to back through your heels. So your hips aren't over to one side or the other. Your legs make a nice arch. And you can do your checks. Head up and light. Hips falling down. Round the back, think the chest. Shoulders sinking down, elbows dropping. Let's change to the other side. So shift your weight back. Bring the front foot back. It's now at 45 degrees. Shift onto that foot. Step out, shoulder width, heel ball toe. Shift forward now. We're bow stance. On the other side, we'll do another 2 minutes here. Again, check the footwork. Weight over the bubbling well for both feet. Crotch rounded so the weight is even on the inside and the outside of the foot. 1 foot forward, 1 foot to the corner. 60% on the front leg. Front leg bent, back leg straight but not locked. Head up. Shoulders sinking, elbows dropping. Back rounded. Hips sinking down. Torso leaning forward in line with the back leg. And your tailbone centered between your heels. And breathe. See how easy your breathing is. And if you think something is not quite right, adjust it and see if your breathing improves or gets worse. And use your breathing as a way to tell you what your posture should be. And change. Now we'll do the other bow stance. So the first foot to the corner again, we'll do a bow stance. Wait, shoulder width apart, shift forward. Now we'll do the bow stance with the torso vertical. The footwork is the same, but our hip is now open more than 45 degrees from the front direction. Our chest is in the same direction, so chest open more than corner. I'm looking straight ahead though, over my front leg. Make sure that your hips are level. Your back hip particularly is tucked down, front leg bent, back leg straight. And in this posture, do your checks. Head up, shoulders sinking, elbows dropping, pulling out at the elbows to round the back and absorb the chest. Feel your weight sinking down so that your sacrum is dropping straight down. And see what your breathing is like. And change, shift back, bring the foot in, shift the weight over to the other side. Step out to a bow stance, shoulder width, as far as you can go and still come back. Shift forward the weight. Hips open to the corner because we're going to be torso vertical. Looking in the direction of the front leg, even though your chest is open more than corner. And again, now let's just double check. So crotch rounded, do you feel the inside or the outside of your legs? Feet, I mean. One side is heavier than the other. You want equal. You want weight over the bubbling well. In other words, roughly the same weight on the ball and the heel. Both feet, front leg bent, back leg straight but not locked. Head up. Sink the hips down so that you can relax the back, open and extend your whole spine up and down. Round your back by pulling out at the elbows and sink the shoulder blades down the back. Drop, feel the elbows dropping, feel there's a bit of weight on the elbows. Fingertips are about fist width apart, arms a nice big round circle. And relax. And come out. One of the things I just wanted to comment on, a question that Rima asked during class last week, I've been thinking about. It's like, well, when I'm in this posture and my torso is forward, how's my head up? Are you lifting your chest? I went back and read about that a little bit, and what the commentary to Master Yang Chengfu's Essential says is, don't use strength to lift the top of your head. Feel as if the apex of your head is lifting straight up. It's an intention to lift. If you use strength, everything will get stiff and constrained. So just intend to lift your head and work with it over time. Are there any questions about standing practice? Okay. And welcome to Heidi and Caleb, and I think Sam's in the background as well. Tessie, hello. Pat's with us, and Yukiko as well. Hello, everybody. So we are going to practice the form together. And so I will start, assuming that you're going to be facing the screen, the screen's over there. I'm going to be facing in that direction. And we'll practice through the form twice together. The first time I'll concentrate on the footwork, and the second I'll concentrate on the arm movements. So prepare, and this is a way to practice our standing practice. So the same principles apply here. Opening, the weight doesn't change as the arms lift up and press down to in front of your hips. Grasp bird's tail, ward off left. Shift the weight slightly to the left. Open the right toe by pivoting on the heel to the corner. Sink your weight all the way onto the right foot. Pick up the left foot. Step straight ahead. Heel, ball, toe as you shift your weight over. Torso is vertical. You're looking to the side. Ward off right. Shift your weight slightly to the right. With body turning, turn the left toe into the corner. Sink your weight all the way back onto the left foot. Bring the right foot in. Step out. Root when your arms are closed. Shift your weight forward 60% on the front. Ward off right. Roll back. As the arms roll to the corner, nothing changes. Now, as you swing back to the other corner, shift your weight back so that it's 70% on the back leg, 70% on the left leg. Press. Close your arms, doesn't change now. Push your weight forward so that it's 60% on the front. Torso tilted forward. Press. Flatten the palms, square your chest. Sit back your weight. Now it's 60% in the back. Push forward 60% on the front. Single whip. As you start shifting your weight, flatten the palms. Now, pressing with the right heel, pull to separate the arms. Pivot the right foot, 135 degrees as the arm goes to the side. As the arms come back, sit your weight onto the right leg, straighten the left by the hip turn. Step out, bow stance to the left. Foot flattens as the arm rotates to the side. And then knee bends as you strike out. Your torso should be vertical. Raise hands, step forward, shift your weight slightly to the left, pivot the left toe to the corner. As you shift your weight onto the left, open both arms, circle out, then circle in, root with the heel of the right foot, and close the arms. White crane spreads its wings. Shift your weight back as the arms make a big circle. Lift your foot up, put it back down, right foot pointing to the corner. Shift your weight over to the right foot. Lift up, root with the heel of the left foot just before you get to the top with the arms. Left brush knee. With the body rotation, start the arms moving. As the arms come down, step out into a bow with the left foot, step sideways. As you brush with the left arm, foot flattens. As you push forward with the right, knee bends. And release. So that is as far as we've done. Let's do it again. This time I'll talk more about the arm movements. And in fact, I will face you in the primary camera. If the two cameras confuse you, pick one and just watch that one. Okay, we'll do this again. Prepare. Opening. Rotate and lift the arms at the same time as the arms lift up. Chest comes forward a little bit, comes to the top, arms shoulder width, and they press down, first shoulders, then elbows, then palms. Finish with the palms parallel to the ground. Crossbird's tail ward off left. Shift to the left. Left arm goes forward slightly, right arm goes back slightly as you open your toe. As you sit your weight, right arm goes up, left arm circles down. As the arms close and step, right on top, and then right comes down over the left forearm. Left arm is now straight, going to the side. Right arm, tiger's mouth, pointing at left forearm center. Ward off right, shift your weight slightly to the right. As you turn your left toe in, nothing changes. Now pull, rotate your left arm out to the corner. Close as the right foot comes in and out. When the heel touches, your arms are closed. As you shift forward your weight, one arm comes up, one arm goes down. Roll back. As you go to the first corner, both arms rotate and swing at the same time. Now shift your weight back, just the swing. The arms don't change much, they come down a little bit. Press. Close the right arm horizontally in front of your chest. Press the left palm on the right forearm center, and then press up and out slightly. Push. Flatten the palms, square the chest. Both palms are now horizontal. Pull back over the horizontal as they come towards your chest. Sit your palms both vertical at the back. Now press forward with the legs, the waist, and the hands. You're in press. Single whip. Sit back, flatten the palms. As you start turning the body, the hands separate, then the arms come around. As the foot turns 135 degrees, arms go to the left side, then they come back in front of your body, slightly lower, fingertips to fingertips. Make a hook with the right arm, left fingertips to right forearm center. Step out. As you flatten your foot, rotate the left arm to the side. As you bend your knee, the left arm strikes out. Raise hands, step forward, shift your weight slightly to the right, turn the left toe in. Now release your hook, drop the elbows slightly, keep the right hand higher than the left as you make a horizontal circle, and finish with raised hands. White crane spreads its wings. With sitting your weight back, rotate the palms, pull down, big circle with the left, small circle with the right. As you close, change your footwork with the right foot, lift with the right, press down with the left as you touch with the ball, and finish. Left brush knee. With body turning to the right, rotate the palms. The right palm is looking at you, left palm is sitting. Now swing down the right arm, left arm goes up and presses down. When you get to the side, heel touch with the left foot. Brush as you start moving your weight forward. Your right arm is now in front of your right shoulder, and then pressing out. Right arm pressing out in front of you, striking with the heel of the palm. And relax. Okay. that's what we did, and that's what we're going to focus on in terms of studying and refinements today. Are there any questions? The two things, the theme for what I'm going to be talking about is moving continuously and the exact shape of the arms when we finish. So I am going to imagine that you're seeing me in a mirror, and we're going to start, and we're not going to do footwork at all. We're just going to focus on the arms. And so I'm going to imagine that I am mirroring you. And so you've done raise hands. So your right hand is forward, and you've got your chest open so that your left hand is behind your right hand. And so we're just going to do a few things together. So the first thing that I noticed is the first part of this movement is we rotate our palms so that the top hand is palm down and the bottom hand is palm up. Then it pulls down and makes a circle. Let's just do that again. So 1, rotate the palms. 2, pull down and make a circle. So you're ending with your left hand on top, the right hand below. Again. 1, rotate. 2, pull down, make a circle. The second thing I wanted to point out that I noticed is we need to start and stop the arms together. And that's quite difficult here because you'll see that the one arm is making a big circle, right? So this arm is coming almost 360 degrees. This arm is just going 90 degrees. So the one is a very long path and the other is a short path. So the lower arm needs to move slowly, and the arm that goes over the top needs to move more quickly so that you start and end together. So let's just work on that for a few moments. So we're starting with the right hand forward, left hand, your chest is open, rotate. Now start moving down and finish at the same time. Again, rotate, pull down, finishing at the same time. Hold that posture. Now we're going to finish white crane. So the lower hand is going to lift up and the upper hand is going to go down. This is an example of yin and yang. We have yin and yang everywhere in the form, right? And so the hand that's on top becomes the hand that's below, and then the hands at the bottom becomes the hand that's atop. And so constantly what's yin becomes yang and what's yang becomes yin. And so let's focus on the second part of the movement, but we'll start again from the top. So palms facing in slightly. 1, rotate the palms, top one's facing down, bottom one palm up. Now circle down, end with both hands at the same time. Now as you open, again, same speed, and there's two things I want to point out here. Hold that posture. I want you to check that the fingertips of the lower hand are pointing straight forward and it's sitting by your hip. So it's not behind you like this. It's just sitting here and the fingertips are pointing straight forward. The top hand, the fingertips are horizontal and my arm is a nice big circle and it's protecting my head. So the one hand is down here and the other hand is up there. So let's just do those. Let's just complete that movement. So we're starting again, one hand higher than the other, and the higher hand is ahead of the lower hand because we've turned our chest to the corner. 1, rotate the palms. 2, pull down and close, both at the same time. Now turning the chest back to square, circle up and press down. The second thing I want to point out here is as we circle up with this hand, the palm rotates at the same speed as the arm goes. So we're starting at the bottom, and the palm and the arm rotate all together, and they end up here. Some of us have a habit of not moving, not changing the palm until we get almost to the top and going, oops, I need to flip it. And then they flip it. So try and keep the movement, the rotation of the palm and the arm coordinated all the way through. Do that again. So, starting in this posture, and we're all just going to stay facing the screen. So rotate the palms, pull down, lower one slower than the upper one so that you finish at the same time. Turning the waist, turn the chest to square and up. And finish with a nice round shape in this upper arm, pressing out. Very nice. Yes, I can see some very nice round shapes, and fingertips nice and horizontal too. Beautiful. Okay, so from here, we're going to go on and we're going to do left brush knee. So the first thing with left brush knee is we're going to rotate the arms. So the top arm, the palm is now facing me, and the lower palm is sitting vertically. So that's the first movement. So with a waist turn, rotate the palms. So the top palm is palm up facing me, the lower one is vertical. Now I'm going to swing down, turn the chest, and press down. We'll start again from here. 1, rotate. 2, swing down the one, lift the other, and then the lifting one comes down and the one that was down comes up. Again, you can see the yin and yang happening here. Up goes down goes up. And again, 1, rotate. 2, swing down and lift up, swing up and press down. Something I noticed that I just want to mention is how big these circles are. And again, I'll be back here so you can, I probably have to kneel down so you can see my whole arm. In general, when we do the form, we don't have our hands higher than, our fingertips higher than our nose, so that we can, so we don't obscure our own eye line. So in general, there are a few exceptions, of course, when we're here and this arm is like way high. But when we're swinging our arms, usually the fingertips don't go higher than the nose. And sometimes they're actually even, they just come back horizontally. So let's do these two movements together. And I just want to point out how high the arm swings go. So we'll start at the end of raised hands. So upper hand is ahead of the lower hand fingertips to forearm center. 1, rotate the palms. Now, as you swing down and swing up, this arm that's swinging up doesn't go higher than the eyes. So it comes across, so it doesn't make a big swing. And then to white crane. Rotate the palms. Now swing down. Again, the upper hand doesn't go higher than the fingertips. As you brush, this arm that's out just comes in horizontally and then presses straight out. So let's just focus on the brush knee movements. So 1, rotate. 2, swing down and close. Now the next movement is the hand that's in front goes to here and the hand that's at the side comes in. So in. Now the hand that's in front comes down to my hips and the hand that's in front of my shoulders pushes out. And what you'll see is that this hand, which should be your left hand, in fact has made a big circle. This is where you started in white crane. Your left hand ended up where it started. So let's start again in white crane. Rotate, swing, press down. Wipe the table with the left arm, right arm to in front of the shoulder, and then press down with the left. And again, the left fingertips are pointing straight ahead. The arm is naturally by the side of your body. The way we check to get the arm shape for this arm is if you just have it hanging, relaxed by the side of your body, bend your elbows slightly, bend your wrist slightly. This is where you want this arm. So it's not out here and it's not behind here. It's just slight bend in the elbow, slight bend in the wrist, palm is horizontal, facing straight forward. Okay. Are there any questions? Not. Yes, Patricia. Pat, go ahead.
During the white crane, is your hand, this, when you're doing this, it's above your head, right? Not by your forehead. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes. And it's that's a very good question, because the right hand is, well, I'll go down again. It's essentially protecting against somebody striking you from above to the head. And one of the reasons why we're up here is, and again, some folks, it's really easy to have the hand really close to the head. It's above, but it's close. That's too close, because if somebody strikes you, you don't have a way to deflect it. You really want to have this arm nice and round and out. So it's up at an angle like this. Yeah, that looks great. That looks great. Okay, good. So what I'd like to do in our time today is, instead of doing a new movement, I'm going to work on footwork and review footwork with you, because that really is the foundation, right? The word foundation, I think, comes from the Latin for a foundation, the thing you build a building on. And so we build the whole building of our Tai Chi Chuan practice on our footwork. So actually, I am going to just add a spotlight so that you can see me from two sides. I may go out of shot. And again, you know, if anybody wants to stay behind and give me feedback afterwards about whether this was really confusing or whether it was helpful, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so let's just review what we know about footwork. So we'll start with the bow stance. When we do footwork, there's three things that we need to think about with footwork. The first is the stance, the second is how we move, and the third is how we root. Now, we've been practicing our stance when we were doing standing practice, right? You know, that's a 60-40, and, you know, where the feet are, and legs are bent, legs are straight. That's stance. I'm not going to review that here. Now we're going to talk about how we move. So I'm going to imagine that, you know, I'm going to imagine the screen is over there and you're going, you know, to the left-hand side the same way as me. So I'm in a bow stance and I'm going to have my arms up because I find it helps me practice my posture at the same time, but you don't have to. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our direction of moving from this direction through 90 degrees. So we're going to shift our weight back slightly, turn the left toe to 45 degrees, shift my weight because my feet are wider than shoulder width apart, bring the foot in, step out to a bow stance, heel, ball, toe, bend knee, end up back in a bow stance. So I'm facing towards the front. Now I'm going to turn to the right, shift my weight back slightly, turn the left toe in to 45 degrees, check my feet. Yep, it's more than shoulder width apart. So I'm going to bring my foot in and step it out, shoulder width, heel, ball, toe, bend knee, and I'm in a bow stance again. Do that again. Shift weight back, pivot on the heel, shift weight onto the right foot, bring the left in, step out, bow stance, turn through 90 degrees again, bring it in, step out. Now, there are three things that are essential to our moving practice, and I'll review them with you now, but you'll see them in all the other exercises that we do. So the three things are, it's the sequence. So, you know, what do I put down first? Do I put down my heel first or the ball or whatever? It's really easy. It's just like how we normally walk. So when you walk, naturally, you go heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe. And actually, when you go backwards, you go toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel, toe, ball, heel. We learn the going backwards in the second section of the traditional form, so we're not working on that right now. We're just going forward. But when we are moving in a forward direction, it's always heel, ball, toe, and then when the foot lifts, the ball, toe, heel. So then the next thing that we can do and think about is push and support. So that's the second part of the last part of footwork, stance, moving. It's rooting. So how do we root? Rooting has two things: push and support. So when I'm in a bow stance, let's say, not only am I pushing back with my front foot, I'm pushing forward with my back foot, and you should actually be able to feel some springiness between both feet, so the 2 feet are always in a relationship to each other. The other thing that we have is when we move forwards and we stop, we have to push back with the front leg to make us stop, that we don't fall over forwards. And when we push back with the front leg, it pushes into the back leg. The back leg then pushes into the front leg, and so it's actually like it goes forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And that is called central settle down. So those are the two things about rooting: the relationship of push and support between the feet and central settle down. Let's look at moving in a straight line with bow stance and apply these things. So we're going to start in a bow stance. When we were changing our direction through 90 degrees, we turned the front foot in by 45 degrees. Now we're going to turn it out. So shift your weight back slightly, open the front toe 45 degrees. Shift your weight forward. Now when you shift your weight forward, always shift onto the bubbling well, so shift your weight in the direction of the toe. Step through, heel, ball, toe, bend knee, feel push and support. Again, shift weight back slightly. Open the left toe. Make sure your crotch is rounded so that your knees and toes are in a line. Shift forward your weight onto the bubbling well of the front foot. Step out into a bow stance. Feel push and support with the heel. Now push with the back foot onto the front foot and push back. Feel push and support. Now we can also turn around and go back the way we came. So to do that, we're going to turn the front foot through more than 90 degrees. When it's less than 90 degrees, we shift our weight slightly. It's more than 90 degrees, we're going to shift our weight all the way onto the back foot. Turn the front foot through 135 degrees. Shift your weight onto the back foot, pick up the front and step out into a bow stance. Find your root, push forward into a bow stance. Let's go forward again. So we're going to open the front foot through 45 degrees. So just shift slightly, open the front foot, 45 degrees. Shift your weight in the direction of the front foot, step through, heel, ball, toe, bend knee, and at the end, feel that you're rooted. And again, shift your weight, open the front foot, 45 degrees. Shift your weight in the direction of bubbling well, step through, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. Now we're going to turn around, go back the way we came, so we're going to turn the front foot through 135 degrees. Shift the weight all the way back, because it's a big turn. Turn that foot through 135 degrees, sit back your weight, pick up the leg, put it out, bow stance width, feel the root in the heel, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. And relax. So when we move, there are 3 things that we need to pay attention to. The first one I talked about, which is it's heel, ball, toe. And then as you pick up the back foot, you pick up the heel, pick up the ball, pick up the toe. And you're moving your weight all the time. So we don't walk like this. We don't go put my foot down, now move my weight, put my foot down, now move my weight. We keep moving the weight continuously and evenly. And the way we describe it, the way Master Yongjin describes it, it's like walking like a cat. You're walking very gently. He also says it's like walking on thin ice. So when you shift your weight and you put your front foot down, you're not sure that the ice is going to take your weight. But if it does, you keep moving forward. You can always come back. And then the third thing is, how high do we lift our feet? So when we step forward, we lift it just enough to move. We don't drag our foot along the ground. And we don't, in this style, pick up the foot very high and put it down. The image is, imagine you're walking through mud. You're lifting your foot out of the mud just enough to get it out of the mud and step it forward. Okay, so we'll practice all this more. We've got a good amount of time, but I actually want to review the empty stance as well. So let's look at the empty stance. So if we're in an empty stance, let me see. Yeah, that'll work, I think. Yes, that should work. Maybe this one's better. No, this one. Okay, so I'm in an empty stance with my heel touching. I want to change my movement of direction from going forwards, going towards the screen, to going towards the left-hand side of the room. Normally, if we're touching with the heel, all we have to do is pivot the heel. So we're pivoting the front foot to 45 degrees, shift the weight onto the front foot, and step out into a heel touch. I'm going to turn again through 90 degrees. So my front foot's going to turn through 45 degrees, pivot my front foot, shift my weight, step through ball touch. Again, pivot the front foot, shift my weight, and step out, heel touch. Again, pivot to 45 degrees, step through, one line, two sides, heel touch. Now, you may say, but Pierre, in raise hand, step forward, when we did raise hand, step forward to white crane, we were on a heel touch. And when we closed the arms, we picked up this foot and put it down again. Didn't you just say you just pivot on the heel? What's with that? And the reason is that as a general thing, when we are on the heel and we're just doing in an empty stance, we can just pivot on the heel. What we're doing in white crane is we're actually reminding ourselves that we can change our footwork. So for example, here, if I'm in white crane, I'm picking up the foot because I could actually step backwards. So if I'm here and my opponent is coming towards me, let's say from that direction, and I really need to get out of the way, I can step back. If my opponent is not coming towards me and I want to get closer to them, I can step in. So that's why we lift the heel in the form in that place. Now, so that's heel touch. With empty stance, as you know, we've got a heel touch. So we're 70% on the back leg, 30% on the front, heel touch. We also have a ball touch. So where we're touching with the ball, again, 70%, so this back hip is sinking all the way down. The front leg is straight but not locked, and we're touching with the whole ball. How do we change from the ball to the heel? And so what I want to emphasize when we change from ball to heel is we pick up the foot and put it down again. So you practice with me if you wish. So we're in an empty stance. Let's say we're in a heel touch. To go to ball touch, shift the weight back slightly, pick up the foot, put it down again, and apply 30%. Go back to the heel, shift weight back slightly, pick up the foot, put down the heel, 30%. Go to the ball, shift weight back, pick up the foot, touch with the ball, 30%. Back to the heel, pick up, put it down, 30%. So the reason why we do that is that the alternative doesn't work. So the tempting alternative is that I'm in an empty stance. Let's say I'm on the ball. I want to change to the heel. I just roll my foot forward. So I go from heel touch to ball touch by just rolling my foot forward. And you can see that if I just roll my foot forward, watch this hip. If I roll my foot forward, my hip comes forward, and this hip isn't over the back leg anymore. So this is not actually a good empty stance ball touch. It needs to be here. By the same token, if I start with an empty stance ball touch and I just roll back onto the heel, you'll see my butt sticks out. Now I've got too much weight on the back. I want my hip over my foot, so that's why I pick it up to adjust to here. So that's when we change from ball touch to heel touch, pick up the foot, put it down again. The reason why that's important is now we're going to do the empty stance ball touch and we're going to change directions. Because we start with the ball and we step, remember when we go into a movement, we step heel first, then ball, then toe. So when we start with the ball touch, we first want to change to the heel and then go further. So let's say we're going to that direction and I'm going to turn towards the garage door. So let's say I'm in a ball touch. So I'm empty stance ball touch. I'm going to change and I'm going to go into the other direction. I'm going to change my front foot through 45 degrees and I'm going to touch with the heel first. So to do that, pick up the ball, put down the heel, shift the weight forward, ball touch. I'm going to turn to that side now again. I've got to lift up the foot, put down the ball, foot to 45 degrees, shift forward the weight, and ball touch. Again, I'm going to go towards the garage door. I'm going to turn the front foot through 45 degrees, but to get to a heel first, I've got to pick it up, put down the heel, shift my weight forward, step around, ball touch. So that's how we turn through 90 degrees. So what we did here, whether it's heel or ball touch, we turned the foot in. We can also turn the foot out. And in the same way, as you'll recall, when we were doing bow stance, when we were changing our direction, we turned the foot in. When we were going in a straight line, we turned the toe out. The same thing applies with our empty stance. So let's just start with empty stance. I'm going along from left to right on the screen for you. I'm empty stance in a heel touch. Instead of turning my foot in, I'm just going to pivot the foot open to the right and shift my weight forward. Now here, as you shift your weight forward, be very careful that you keep your crotch rounded and open so that your toes and your knees are in line in both directions. If you don't do that and you twist your knees in long term, you'll hurt your knees. So now we'll step through and end with a heel touch. Again, so turn the toe open, shift the weight onto the bubbling well, so in the diagonal direction, step through, heel touch. I'll come back the other direction. Start with an empty stance. I'm going to keep moving in the straight direction, so I have to open my foot to the corner, heel, ball, toe, and touch with the heel. I'm going to do it again. So turn the toe to the corner, shift forward, weight in the direction of the bubbling well, bring the foot through, heel touch. I don't have to stop with one step. I can do a whole sequence of them. So that's what we're going to practice now. And again, when you do the sequence practice, I really want to emphasize it's important as you do this that you think about keeping your crotch rounded and keeping your toes always pointing in the direction of your feet. In other words, yeah, your toes always do point in the direction of your feet, don't they? Your knees pointing in the direction of your feet so that you don't twist your knees in like this. Okay, so let us begin. Okay. Empty stance. Heel touch. We're going to go in the straight direction. So pivot, the toe open, step through. And now we're going to keep moving. So put the right foot down, heel touch, but the toes to the corner. Keep shifting your weight forward. Bring the back foot through, heel touch, foot to the corner. Shift your weight through. And go the other direction. So open the toe to the corner. Move your weight through, toe to the corner, move the weight through, keeping crotch rounded. Move to the corner, move to the corner. And so you can walk in this way backwards and forwards several times. Now, the thing that I would suggest if you're looking for something to do in your practice this week is just to do this footwork practice. You can mix and match everything that we've done today, and we'll do that now. So we'll do some, bow stance, empty stance, bow stance, going in a straight line, turning around, coming back. You can mix and match yourself. Master Youngjun has said that, if you practice just this footwork, just this moving, depending on the person, but if you do 20 minutes a day for 3 or 4 months, you'll get your footwork right. So that's the challenge for all of us, is to find another 20 minutes to do this. So let us, in the last few minutes, practice this together. So actually, let's just start with our feet parallel. And I'm going to imagine I'm going to go in the same direction as you. I'm going to open my right foot to the corner. I'm going to step through into a bow stance. Heel, ball, toe, bend knee, check that I'm rooted. I've got present support. Now I'm going to turn through 90 degrees into a bow stance. Shift back, weight slightly, turn the left toe to the 45 degrees. Bring the right foot in, step it out again. Heel, ball, toe, bend knee. Now I'm going to turn all the way around and go behind me. Shift back the weight all the way. Now turn the front toe 135 degrees. Shift weight back. Bring the back foot in, step out into a bow. Heel, ball, toe, bend knee. Now I'm going to go into an empty stance. Shift weight back slightly. Turn the toe to 45 degrees. Bring the back foot in, step out. Heel touch. Now I'm going to go to the left. Pivot on the heel. Empty stance, heel touch. Again, turn to the front direction, empty stance. Pivot on the heel. Bring the foot in, step out, empty stance, heel touch. Now let's go straight ahead. So pivot to 45 degrees, step through, empty stance, heel touch. We're going to turn 90 degrees, shift back weight, pivot the foot, and heel touch. Change from the heel to the ball. I'm going to reset. We're on the ball, on the heel, on the ball, on the heel. So now we're going to start on the ball and we're going to turn our moving direction through 90 degrees. So we're going to turn the front foot 45, pick it up, put it down, heel touch, ball, toe, shift the weight, step out, empty stance, ball touch. Going to turn through 90 degrees again. So the front foot's going to go 45, but I've got to pick it up first, put down the heel to the corner, step out, ball touch. Now I'm going to step out into a bow stance. So take the front foot, step it wider. Bow stance. I'm in a bow stance. Turn around, go back, shift the weight all the way back. Pivot the front toe, 135 degrees. Sit, weight back, pick up the front foot, step it out, bow stance to the left behind you, and finish in a bow stance. And actually, let's finish in a bow stance with a torso vertical, which is the one that we have for single whip. And release. So you can improvise whatever sequence works for you. That's enough for today. We will do more of these as time goes by. We'll introduce a new one next week. But I hope that was useful. Are there any questions before we finish? Okay, a couple of announcements. The first thing is, if you'd like to practice more, it's always good to practice. So Marion has her practice tomorrow, if you can make it at 3 o'clock. Thank you to everybody who completed the survey. If you haven't completed the survey and you'd like to, there is a link in the chat. I'd love for you to do that. And last but not least, one of the questions that often comes up is, so, if I have time, how should I practice? So what works for me is to start with just the sequence. So practice the sequence that we've done so far. Do that a couple of times so that you start learning the order in which things happen, and then learn the new movement, and then practice the new movement. And so this week, the new movement that we did was this footwork. So think about your stance, think about how you move, and think about how you root. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you all next week, I hope. Let us conclude. 同学们，再见。
老师再见。